Good morning to all of you. In this lecture, we are going to start our new lesson, and the name of lesson is Footprints Without Feet, and this is also name of our book. Okay, so let's start. Actually, this lesson is written by H.G. Wells. Okay, in this lesson, we are going to know about a scientist which produced, or you can say discovered, a drug or medicine which make human being invisible. Okay, he used that medicine by himself and he made himself invisible, and with this he created a lot of nonsense and he do a lot of crimes. Okay, but no one could catch him because he was invisible. Okay, actually this shows us how lawless and irresponsible person the scientist. Okay, and he did a lot of things which are totally illegal. Okay, so let's start. Can a man become invisible? This is the story of a scientist who discovered how to make himself invisible. Does he use or misuse his discovery? So as I already told you in this lesson, a scientist, he made himself invisible. He used that medicine or drug, and he did a lot of, you can say, lawless activities, or he misused that power or medicine. So the two boys started in surprise at the fresh muddy imprints of a pair of bare feet. So the story starts with when the two boys they were shocked and they noticed two imprints of bare feet, means without any slipper or chappal or any shoes. Okay, what was a barefooted man doing on the steps of a house in the middle of London, and where was the man? So the question arises in the mind of two boys, that, or in reader's mind also, that what are the footprints of bare feet were doing there, and where was the man whose imprints on the stairs? As they gazed, a remarkable sight met their eyes. A fresh footmark appeared from nowhere. So when they tried to find it, they found there was no one, but still there were imprints of bare feet. Okay. Further, footprints followed one after another, descending the steps and progressing down the street. The boys followed, fascinated, until the muddy impression became fainter and fainter and last disappeared altogether. They were totally shocked when they saw the two footprints. They started moving. They're coming down from the stairs to the street, down to the street, and they followed those footprints, and they followed till the footprints were disappeared. Okay, first it grew faint and fainter, after that they were totally disappeared. The explanation of the mystery was really simple enough. The bewildered boys had been following a scientist who had just discovered how to make human body transparent. So you can see their mystery is very simple. They were shocked, but behind their shockingness or behind their surprise, there is a scientist who discovered a medicine or a drug which make human being transparent, or you can say which can make human being invisible. Griffin, the scientist, had carried out experiment after experiment to prove that human body could become invisible. Finally, he swallowed certain rare drugs, and his body became transparent as the sheet of glass, though it also remained as solid as glass. So the name of the scientist or our story's protagonist, or you can say the main character of story, is Griffin, the scientist who invented or discovered a medicine or a drug. he did a lot of experiment to discover that medicine, and finally he discovered that medicine which can make human body transparent, and this is transparent as glass and as well as solid as glass. Clear? Brilliant scientist though he was, Griffin was rather a lawless person. No doubt he was a brilliant scientist because he discovered such a medicine, but he was lawless person too. Means he had some criminal activities. His landlord disliked him and tried to eject him. In revenge, Griffin set fire to his house to get away. Without being seen, he had to remove his clothes. So once his landlord, where Griffin lived, his landlord didn't like him, and he tried to eject him. He tried to throw him out of the house, and in anger, in revenge, Griffin set fire in his house and he made him invisible by removing his clothes. Thus it was that become a homeless wanderer without clothes, without money, and quite invisible until he happened to step in some mud and left footprints as he walked. So now he became a houseless person. He didn't have house, didn't have any money, and he was totally invisible. Expect his footsteps. He steps into the mud, and there are some imprints on the stairs on the ground. Expect that he was totally invisible. He escaped easily enough from the boys who followed his footprints in London. Obviously, he was escaped easily from there. Why? Because no one could see him. But his adventure were by no means over. He had chosen a bad time of year to wander about London without clothes. So first adventure when he tried to escape from the boys, and the second adventure that he chose a very bad time to roaming without clothes in the street of London, because that was a winter time, there was a cold outside, and Griffin was totally naked. He didn't have a single cloth on his body. So that was a bad weather for Griffin without clothes. The air was bitterly cold and he could not do without clothes. So that air was very cold and he couldn't do anything without clothes. Instead of walking about the street, he decided to slip into a big London store for warmth. So he decided that he would go in some London store to warm himself, because there must be some heaters in the store. Okay, so that's why he chose that. Closing time arrived. As soon as the doors were shut, Griffin was able to give himself a pleasure of clothing and feeding himself without regard to expense. So the closing time of the store was very near, and now he could have clothes, he could eat without any money, without any expense, because no one can see him, and everybody the store is out from there. He broke open boxes and wrappers and fitted himself out with warm clothes. Soon, with shoes and overcoat, a wide brimmed hat, he became a fully dressed and visible person. As I told you, his body was solid as glass. So when he opened the wrappers and he unboxed the things, he clothed himself. He wore shoes and overcoat, a hat, and now he became visible. Why? Because he could be visible through his clothes. In the kitchen of restaurant, he found cold meat and coffee, and he followed up with the meal with sweet and wine taken from the grocery store. Finally, he settled down to sleep on a pile of quilts. Quilts means rajai. Okay. So he went to the restaurant of the store. He There were cold meat and wine and coffee. He dined well, and after that he was ready to sleep. Okay, and finally he settled down, sleep on a pile. This means dher. Okay, pile of quilts. If only Griffin had managed to wake up in good time, all might have been well. So this line means if he woke up early before arriving the staff of that store, so everything might have been well, but it didn't happen. As it was, he did not wake up until the assistants were already arriving next morning. He was saw a couple of them approaching. He panicked and began to run. In the end of they naturally gave chase. In the end he was able to escape only by quickly taking off his newly found clothes. So once more he found himself invisible but naked in the chill January air. He was laying on the quilts, he was sleeping, and he noticed that the two assistants of the store, they approached him, and Griffin, he was terrified, he was shocked, he started to run. Okay, and the store assistants, they chased him. Okay, they run behind him. The only way to escape from there, to undress himself. So he started undressing himself. He threw every single cloth from his body. This is how he protect himself from the storekeepers. But now again he was totally naked and invisible in the cold January month. This time he decided to try the stock of a theatrical company in his hope of finding not only clothes but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulder. Shivering with cold, he hurried to Drury Lane, a center of theatre world. When he was roaming, decided that he would go somewhere, he would find some clothes, something else which also covered his face. Okay, because in this picture you can say the face, the hands are not visible. Okay, but in this he decided that he would use the props means जो आइटम जो थिएटर में यूज होती हैं, दैट props बोला जाता है, that he would use props to hide himself, to hide his face. Okay, and he went to Drury Lane, that was the center of theatre world. He soon found a suitable shop. He made his way invisible upstairs and came out a little later wearing bandages round his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, big bushy side whisker, and large hat. So in this way he went to the one of the store, and he dressed himself. He used false nose, he wrapped bandages on his face, he wore a large hat. Okay, to escape without being seen, he casually attacked the shopkeeper from behind, after which he robbed him all of the money he could find. So as I told you, he was a lawless person, he was some criminal instincts. Okay, so that's why in order not to catch, so he attacked the shopkeeper from behind and he robbed him also. Eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Epping, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. So he wanted to escape from the London because there are too much crowd. He took a train to village, then the name of the village is Epping, and he booked 2 rooms in an inn. Inn means hotel, small hotel you can say. The arrival of a stranger at inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. So Usually visitor didn't go in that season. That was a unusual event. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. All tongues means everyone is gossiping about the stranger, that why is come, what is he doing there, because his appearance is also strange. Okay, Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly, but Griffin had no desire to talk and told her, my reason for coming to Epping is a desire for solitude. Actually, that landlady, Mrs. Hall, she tried to be nice with Griffin, but Griffin told her that my reason was to come here, that I didn't want to get disturbed by anyone. I want solitude. It means I want to live alone here. Okay, I do not wish to be disturbed in my work. Beside, an accident had affected my face. He lied that those bandages which he wrapped to create a false face, he told that he had an accident and that's why his face was affected. Clear? Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, and in view of that fact that he paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper. So she was satisfied with the explanation of Griffin that this is a scientist, and he paid the hotel bills in advance. That's why she forget the irritable behavior of Griffin. But the stolen money did not last long, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. He pretended, however, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment. Again, he lied. Actually, the money which is stole from the that theater shop, okay, that's done. He spent all the money, and very soon he was out of money, and he told Mrs. Hall that he was expecting a check, and that check arrive at any moment. Shortly afterward, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noise in the study. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. So, shortly in that morning, there was a strange incident occurred in the clergyman's room in that inn. The clergyman and his wife, they heard a sound of chinks from the desk, and someone is taking their money. Without making any noise and with the poker grabs firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung open the door. So without making any noise, he held a poker stick in his hand, and he flung open the door because he wanted to catch the thief. Who? Clergyman. Surrender. Then, to his amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtain, and even up the chimney. There wasn't a sign of anybody, yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. The clergyman and his wife, they found the thief everywhere, behind the curtain, over the chimney, in the desk, but there was nobody. But still, the desk was open and the housekeeping money was missing. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. But it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. So, on the same day, on the same morning, little later after this incident, there was an incident which happened with Mrs. Hall also, and that incident was quite shocking. The landlord and his wife were up very early and was surprised to see the scientist door open. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anyone entered his room. So when the clergyman, when the Mrs. Hall and his husband, the landlord, they opened early and they found the Griffin's room were wide open, and it was quite strange because his door his was shut and closed, and he doesn't like if anybody come to his room. The opportunity seemed to be good to be missed. They peeped round the room, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. The bedclothes were cold, showing that a scientist must have been up for some time, and strange still, the clothes and bandages that he always wore were laying about the room. So when they went into the room, they found there was no one, and there was a good opportunity to investigate about that scientist. They found that the bedclothes was cold. That means he was out from some time. But they found that the bandages and the clothes which Griffin always wore, and that was also quite strange. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to his ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leaped up and dashed itself into her face. So, Mrs. Hall, when she was investigating, she heard a sniff, a small sound into his ear, and she found that a hat which laying on the bedpost. He flung fly to Mrs. Hall's face. Okay. Then the bedroom chair became alive, springing into the air. It charged straight at her legs foremost. As she and her husband turned away in terror, the extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. Again, there was Griffin. He was attacking. He first attacked with the chair, and with the help of that chair, he pushed them out from the room and shut the door. Okay. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stair in hysterics. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirit and that the stranger had somehow caused these to enter into her furniture. Actually, this was very extraordinary affair, and she thought that this room is haunted by the spirit, means atma, or ghost, and these are in the future. My poor mother used to sit in that chair. She moaned to think it should rise up against me now. She was in a great terror, and she was very depressed. She said that her mother used to sit on that chair, and now this chair, how this chair should rise to her now. The feeling among the neighbor was that trouble was caused by craft, but witchcraft or not. When news of burglary at clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had hand in it. Suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before he had no money. So witchcraft means any black magic, jadugar koi. But there was a burglary, means the theft in the house, in the room of clergyman, and the Griffin was strongly suspected for that. Why? Because he produced money. For no time long ago, he told that he was out of money now, but he produced money, so that their their suspicion grew more stronger on Griffin that he would have stolen the money. The village constable was secretly sent for. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist, who had somehow mysteriously appeared from the empty bedroom. I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs, she damned. And I want to know how it is you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room. There were various questions which were asked by Mrs. Hall. Actually, the secretly constable was sent to the inn to investigate about the theft. But before without waiting of that constable, she dashed to room the Griffin, and she asked him very question that where did he came from the empty room? He just appeared, and how he could made his way in the locked room like that. Okay. Hunter was always quick tempered. Now he became furious. You don't understand who or what I am? He shouted. Very well, I'll show you. Suddenly he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and even nose. It took him only a minute to do this. The horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at headless man. Actually, when she asked the question, Griffin was a very short-tempered person. He became angry, and he said, Mrs. Hall, that let me show you who I am. He has put off his bandages from his mouth, his whisker, his nose. Okay, and now the people of the bar they become horrified because they are staring at a headless person. Mr. Jaffer, the name of the constable now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had been arrested a man without a head. But Jaffer was not easily prevented from doing his duty. If a magistrate warrant order of person's arrest, then that person had to be arrested with or without his head. So Mr. Jaffer, when he saw that he had to arrest a headless person, he wasn't shocked because he was very honest person. He was very responsible towards his duties, and he had his orders to arrest a person. He would surely arrest him with or without his head. They followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. Finally, a shirt flew into the air, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at all. Some people tried to help him but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. So that scene was very remarkable when a policeman trying to hold that person which is slowly become invisible because he is throwing one by one his clothes. Finally he threw his shirt in the air. Okay, the other people they tried to help Mr. Jaffer the constable, but it was also impossible for them because they couldn't see that person. Okay, actually, and Griffin he was hitting them, but they couldn't see the hit. Why? Because he was invisible. In the end, Jaffer was knocked unconscious as he made a last attempt to hold on the unseen scientist. When he tried to make his final attempt to hold Griffin, Griffin hit him and he knocked down the Mr. Jaffer constable. Okay, when he tried to hold the unseen scientist, there were nervous, excited cries of "Hold him!" But this was easier said than done. Griffin had shaken himself free, and no one knew where to lay hand on him. There were people; they were crying, hold him!" But no one could hold. Why? Because he was totally invisible. He made or shaken himself free, and no one know to where put a hand on him. So in this way, he went from there also. No one could catch him. Clear? This is our lesson: footprints without feet. Thank you. Have a nice day.